Hi everyone, it's Joaquin from Correa Way Estates. We're going to take a look at how Brentwood performed this March and review the top 10 sales. And I'm also going to discuss the buyers and where they're coming from, and there will be more of that in my newsletter. First up, we have 12928 Evanston Street. This one sold for $29 million. We have a stone-clad English country estate set behind private gates on nearly 3/4 of an acre of flat, mature, landscaped grounds in the heart of Brentwood Park. So what sets this one apart is that it was built in 1990 and it was clearly designed with scale in mind from the very beginning. The ceiling heights, they feel consistently tall all throughout. The rooms are generous without feeling oversized, and the floor plan can handle real entertaining volume. The formal dining, the family room, the home theater, the wine cellar, all while still keeping, the residential warmth that defines this style. So the gardens, these are also a huge part of the story. At this point, they're fully mature and they're beautifully layered, and the grounds, they really feel more like a private park than a backyard. In a neighborhood defined by discretion, this estate really does set a certain standard. The sale history here is also pretty remarkable. So the property was previously on the market at $25 million. Then after a series of price cuts, it failed to sell at $19.5 million in late March 2025. The listing description said it was subject to bankruptcy court approval. Then on title, it traded at $8.599 million in April 2025. It was remodeled and it sold before it can even hit the market again for a huge number. I'm not totally sure how deep the remodel went, but from the exterior, you can clearly see what changed. So the upper level stone facade, that was removed, replaced with wood siding, decorative railing was added, black shutters went on, the vines at the garage were removed, a lot of the trees in the front that were blocking the house and probably blocking light coming in, those were taken away, and the driveway and the landscaping were redone as well. This was a very impressive result in a very short period of time, and a Correa Way agent brought the buyer. Moving on, we have 311 South Bristol Ave. This one sold for $14.025 million. It's a French country estate on one of Brentwood Park's most coveted streets, and it just made its first market appearance in decades, and it's selling off market to a buyer. They definitely know what they were buying. So on appraisal, the residence measured over 5,000 square feet. On title, it's a little bit smaller. It is a single-story home on a corner lot of roughly 22,500 square feet, about half an acre, right in the heart of Brentwood Park, south of Sunset. So the transaction, it was really driven by land value, but there is meaningful value in the existing structure because it carries real architectural character. You have this nice gated circular entry, a landscaped courtyard arrival, and really good indoor-outdoor flow, 6 bedrooms, including 3 luxurious suites, and all the hallmarks of French country design that were preserved and updated over a long period of ownership. The buyer is a North of Montana homeowner with a sizable commercial real estate portfolio. They're in a great position here. They can renovate, they could completely reimagine the property from the ground up, but I think they're gonna take on the house and redo it. So this is very interesting. This was a good buy. I'm excited to see what they do here. Moving on, we have 765 N Bundy Rd. This one sold for $11.45 million. This was originally designed by master California architect Alan Seipel in 1956. It's set on 1.4 acres of promontory land in the estate section of Bundy Road, just off Tigertail, one of the most private corridors in Kenter Canyon. It was meticulously restored over 3.5 years by the owner. They were building it for themselves, and you can feel that in the way the house was handled. So this is a California mid-century modern. It's organic and it's absolutely beautiful. Here they have a lot of Douglas fir cladding inside and outside the house, just tons of walls of glass, and it's gonna let the canyon in. And it has a very nice site that gives you over 200 feet of frontage with wraparound views of the Santa Monica Mountains, the tree canopy, and even a little distant sliver of the Pacific. It is a house that was made for a certain type of way of living, and the renovation honored that completely. What it offers is hard to replicate. You have architect provenance, you have great site orientation and views, real landscape maturity, and all of this is working together at a level that new construction on this hillside really usually can't match. The buyer, they're coming from Brentwood, and they're an American television director and producer, and they're behind several of the most popular drama series ever made. Moving on, we have 13214 Riviera Ranch Rd. This one sold for $11.147 million. This is a Cliff May, California ranch on a 23,000 square foot cul-de-sac lot in Sullivan Canyon, the same canyon Cliff May developed and lived in. The restoration, it was done with great taste, quality, and sensitivity to the original Cliff May architecture, really infusing that iconic ranch aesthetic with a fresh, contemporary feel. So you still have the original bones that matter. We have white board and batten siding on the outside. Inside, we have vaulted open beam ceilings, 3 fireplaces, flagstone terraces, mature gardens, horse stables. That's really cool. And the renovation was smart enough to not fight any of that. So the result is a property that feels designed for exactly the life it enables: unhurried, private, and deeply connected to the canyon it sits in. The land is worth at least $9 million, and there's plenty of comps to support that. Rick Caruso recently sold a piece of land in this pocket at about $9 million as well. So the buyer, they're coming from Brentwood. She was an actress, and now she's very active in philanthropy. So next on our list, we have 334 North Carmelina Ave. This one sold for $10.184 million. 3,600 square foot home on a 32,000 square foot lot. This is a 1930 Spanish colonial revival estate on North Carmelina. This was available for the first time in over 50 years. So you have 3/4 of an acre of just mature gated grounds. You have this really cool freeform lagoon pool with natural boulder edging, and an attached pool cabana with an outdoor kitchen and fireplace. We have a detached garage. And then we have a 2-story main house with the original dark beam cathedral ceilings, Talavera tiled stair risers, and terracotta floors still intact. So the land, the bones, and the address, they're all there at once. This one sold for land value, and the buyer already lives in the neighborhood. Moving on, we have 427 North Bundy Drive. This one sold for $10.1 million. It's almost 8,000 square feet on a 10,700 square foot lot. This is a 2025 new construction on one of Brentwood's more tucked away residential stretches north of Sunset. So this is a turnkey East Coast traditional, and it's done in painted white brick, black steel windows, and a rear compound built around a rectangular pool. We have a pool house and flat grass lawn. It's not Hamptons, it's not modern farmhouse, and it's not American colonial. It's kind of the current, what the Brentwood developers version of the East Coast traditional, and it was executed very cleanly here at 7,950 square feet across 3 levels with 7 bedrooms, 10 baths, a home theater, a gym, an infrared sauna, an elevator, an ADU. You have the full suite of modern amenities. This house really does not ask anything of the buyer. The floor plan, it's organized, the finishes are clean, the outdoor spaces are functional, and the address delivers everything a Brentwood family needs. The interior signature element is this double height entryway with a curved staircase and an elliptical skylight. It's kind of the moment that gives the house its identity right when you walk in. And so for the buyer who wants a complete move-in ready home, no renovation, this is a property that makes its case without a single asterisk. It has everything. Moving on, 1639 Mandeville Canyon Rd. This one sold for $7.625 million. It's almost 4,000 square feet, and it's on a 27,400 square foot lot. Almost 28,000 square feet of flat, gated canyon ground in the lower section of Mandeville Canyon. The existing 1948 single-story residence, it's clad in pink-stained vertical board and batten with 2 brick chimneys. It's a period-correct California ranch on a scale that the lot just dwarfs this house. The sale is honestly cheap in my opinion. It's an amazing parcel in Lower Mandeville. It's surrounded by a full canopy of mature trees, and it's bookended by some of the most significant estates in the canyon. So the buyer's coming from Brentwood again. They recently sold their property on Old Ranch in Sullivan Canyon, and I would imagine they're gonna build a new house here. So next on our list, we have 13041 Evanston Street. This one sold for $7 million. 4 beds, 4 baths, 3,759 square feet on an 8,122 square foot lot. This is a rare single-story country English estate set deep within Brentwood Park. It's not too deep in Brentwood Park. It's part romantic garden retreat, part serious architectural document. And we have these hand-carved fireplaces. We have the original leaded casement windows. We have cathedral beam ceilings and herringbone brick floors. That really all this just accumulates into something that feels less like a house you buy and more like one you inherit. The grounds, they're conceived by a celebrated landscape architect, Garrett Carlson, and he's a big part of the story here. So they have this level of maturity and atmosphere that takes years to create, and it's almost impossible to replicate all at once. It sold for a massive number. I would put the land value at about $4.5 million, a little bit on the higher end, and the structure at another $1 to 1.5 million. So that's about $6 million. So getting to the $7 million where it's sold, very impressive. The house, it's nice as it is, but I do think the next owner will likely renovate. It's also the kind of property where putting money into the remodel, it does make sense here because the structure has the volume and the architecture to support it, and so does the lot size. It's a good size lot, but not too big for this size house. Next on our list, we have 1756 Correa Way. This one sold for $6.9 million. This is a genuine Tudor revival estate, storybook on the outside and sharp contemporary within, and it's perched on nearly half an acre in the cul-de-sac section of Lower Mandeville. It has unobstructed views stretching from the Getty all the way to the Pacific. The exterior, it reads like a page from a 1920s English manor house catalog. Has a steep gabled roofline, decorative half timbering, dark shutters, all set against white stucco, and a rusticated stone arcade at the lower level. Inside, the renovation's confident. They lighten the palette and open the plan without stripping away the architectural character. That's not easy to do in a house like this. The result is a home that feels very rare for its category. 6 bedrooms across 3 levels, multiple terraces, a swimmer's pool and a spa, mature grounds, and city views that show up from room to room. The house, it had a very hard time on market. It originally came out at $11 million. In the end, it sold too cheap at about $1,131 per square foot. But that's probably what happens when a property spends too much time chasing the wrong number. And then they sold it a bit quick, a bit low. The buyers, they're coming from Ocean Park in Santa Monica. Next on our list, we have 274 North Saltair Ave. This one sold for $6.4 million. This is a 5,000 square foot home on a 17,000 square foot lot. We have a single story country English estate, again, gated, hedged, set back on one of Brentwood's most coveted streets, where nearly half a century of single-family ownership preserved a property with real scale, honest bones, and an exceptional land. The interiors, they are a time capsule, clearly awaiting transformation, but the land, the lot configuration, the address, the bones, that's the story here. This sold at land value, but there's still meaningful value in the structure. I think there's a good chance the next buyer keeps the house and they remodel it. All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you or somebody you know is thinking of selling, give us a call, shoot us a text and email. Let us present our approach and how to share our thoughts on how to best maximize your asset before coming to market. We have an excellent network of professionals to prep the house from basic paint, landscaping, decluttering, minor remodel, full remodel, interior designer, and staging, of course. If you're looking to buy, let us connect you with the off-market properties that we have available and that we know are available. Give me a call, 310-943-0909. Thank you.